unarguably one of my best songs from Ckay. I wouldn't say one of my best songs. My best songs from Ckay actually. So Love One.
It's mine too.
Yeah, Love One. Yeah, you know, everybody was on that P. But this one, you know, sonically fantastic, production fantastic. So everything. And you know, something about South African music is that you always hear spirit and soul whenever you listen to a South African song. So I think both artists like poured everything, you know, that they had, you know, into that song. So
shout out to Blackie from South Africa.
Yeah.
You know, that's the song that actually put me onto Blackie. I went and I like did a whole dive. I'm telling you, I went into a whole dive into Blackie.
I thought, song. Yeah, first time I heard it, I thought it was Camon Pella actually. So I went to search and I was like, oh, Blackie, okay, cool. Then you know, got on Blackie's music too as well. So yeah,
his voice is crazy. But in case you haven't guessed it, the superstar that we have in the building right now on this tour for Tuesday morning is the one, the only Ckay.
Yes,
I was expecting you to say How you doing,
I'm good, man. It's good to be here. It's been so long.
Really?
How are you guys?
Oh yeah, it's been a while, Sha.
Yeah. It's good to have you here. You have had a stellar run. You're having a stellar run. I mean, obviously from Love No One CC, Love the One CC, the remix that took off. And you've been traveling. You've been everywhere, pushing music, pushing Afrobeats. What do you feel like has changed the most as your career has taken off?
More bad babes.
Busier DMs.
I mean, like, so much has changed, you know. As you rightly said, like, for like, let's say 2 years straight now, I've been traveling on the road constantly, you know, making music, promoting the other music that's already out, you know, performing here, performing there, on a flight to this place, on a flight to that place. It's been quite a journey, you know. Did my first tour in the US, first tour in Europe.
Congrats.
Really successful. Performed in the Middle East as well, in India, in Southern Africa, and in the Caribbean too. You know, we've been everywhere, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to do that and to, you know, represent Nigerian music globally. You know, I think the music is one of the only things giving Nigeria a good image right now, you know.
Well, Super Eagles until they cry, if they don't crash out on Saturday, you know, when they play Angola.
But even still, they've tried.
I have the highest hopes for the Super Eagles.
Yeah, keep my fingers crossed.
I feel like Nigeria, we have so much going on that we need, you know,
a distraction.
We need joy.
Joy.
Let something give us joy. You know, music, sports. Let's something just give us aside the craziness that's going on.
So I just want to ask, you know, I've known you for quite a while, maybe close to like 10 years right now from the first time you actually jumped on the scene to when you dropped that EP with the F is Ckay. So I think I'm, you know, largely of the opinion that for people who clearly know what they want to do, it's almost like they have everything pretty much mapped out. Because before Love Wanting to, you know, just blow up or anything, you know, the song was out already. Then people now, you know, stumbled on the song and whatever happened with that, you know, just happened. So do you believe that, you know, when you're on a path towards something, the fact that it's not happening for you right now, you know, does that mean that you should constantly, I think your story is a story of that you need to consistently just keep at it, because by the time it will happen, it will be like everything that you've been going through until when you blow up is almost like, you know, building yourself up for what's to come.
Yeah. I mean, I would say for sure in my situation, belief was key. It has always been key, and consistency, you know. I don't know, for some reason, when Love Wanting dropped, you know, people didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
I still don't know. I don't know why. But yeah, people didn't quite get it. But then, let's say about 2 years after that, it's now like the whole world, we're now obsessed.
Yeah.
And
Nigerian audiences didn't get it. I realized that too. Because when it came out, I stumbled across it and I was like, oh my God, this is such a great song. But it's like it wasn't catching fire in Niger. And then literally, like you said, 2 years after, TikTok going crazy, social media going crazy, everybody now suddenly is on the Love and Wanting scene.
I think because of the music that, you know, Ckay makes sonically is always
ahead
very
of its time.
It's ahead of its time, and it's always very interesting to actually just listen to. So it's something that is easygoing, is breezy. So it's something, is almost like music that, you know, 5, 6, 10 years from now you can still put it on because of, you know, that sonic feeling that it actually has, you know, right now. You've been, you know, quite busy.
You've been collaborating. Before we get into this question, I do want to ask you about, you know, relationships within the industry. Obviously, you've been in the industry for a hot minute now. You've grown from strength to strength. You've collaborated with quite a number of people. What do you feel like the biggest lesson that you've learned as regards to relationships, specifically friendships within the music industry, is? Because everybody always has a funny story when it comes to friendships in the industry.
Well, man, this is a hard one. But I'll just say the biggest lesson I've learned from friendships in the industry is that, you know, they're not friendships in the real definition of the term friendships, you know. I would like to call them alliances.
Okay.
You know, at different points in time, different people have
Alliances.
different, you know, interests, and, you know, they may run into each other and those interests may align.
Okay.
And in that period, you know, they look like, or they may appear to be, you know, like you said, friends. But then, you know, I've seen so many situations where maybe those interests don't quite align.
Right.
And
it falls apart.
those alliances kind of, you know, there's like a distance. But it doesn't necessarily even mean that the other person hates the other person. Do you understand? It's just, like I said, the thing of alliances when interests align. So that's one thing I would say I've learned from
Your interactions in the industry.
Yeah.
But would you, I mean, I'd rather say, you know, back in like 2010, 2009, when the industry was, you know, rather small, like a small collective, you know, there were a lot of friendships that were going on, like real friendships. But I think that, you know, the bigger it got, you know, the more, the less friendships we saw, and the more alliances that we saw. Because back in the day when we had, you know, when we had banking, when we had one day call, when, you know, when we just had like a handful where everybody knew everybody, and everybody used to hang a sway bar, everybody was doing the same things, you know, it was, you know, there was that camaraderie just going on. But right now, like you rightly said, that, you know, so
we're living in like a modern day Hollywood
talking
right
about
here.
this,
Talking about friendship. Now, I feel like you and Blackbones, it's a real friendship, right?
Yeah.
okay, you guys have the same hairstyle.
I would think so, because I feel like you guys are always collaborating together. I know that he speaks highly of you. You guys collaborated in 2022 for your hit single Hallelujah. Fans were surprised that Blackbones was the only one on the record with you, and the reason being is because it was circulating online that also on the record was supposed to be J Vibes and also Benson. Now, because fans were surprised, you took to Twitter and you said
He's very active on Twitter.
very active on Twitter, and I love it because you need to express yourself. I like it. You're giving meaning and understanding, right? There's a backstory. So you actually cleared up a couple of things, and you said that, you know, Benson, formerly known as Buju, asked to be taken off the record, and then you also mentioned that Shay Vibes and Shay Vibes people didn't clear the record. But now, going back to that, because I feel like I never got closure. So I want to know, why did Benson ask to be taken off the record?
You on?
I mean, one thing I can tell you is that Benson asked to be taken off the record.
But why?
Was his
But now,
verse weak?
Why he asked to be taken off the record is a question you have to ask him.
Oh,
What
really?
was the sequence of events?
Why he asked.
We're taking off the record.
But what was the sequence of events? So I want to know, like, when he submitted his verse or gave you his verse for the record, had he or was he aware of the other people that were also going to be on the record?
I mean, he was aware that he wasn't the only one.
But he didn't know specifically who was going to be on the record.
I mean, I don't know if I mentioned exactly who was going to be on the record. But yeah, I mean, Shay Vibes verse as well. I heard it. I really loved the verse. But I don't know, it didn't get to come out due to some paperwork issues and stuff, and I think that's cool. Like I said in the tweet, like I don't even take it personal. I think the verse was crazy, but if it doesn't make it on the song, that's cool. There's so many songs that are made every day. Like, I mean, even from me being like, before I started to release my own music on the production side of things, I've seen so many songs get created that don't come out.
Yeah.
You know, so many features, so many verses that are on records that, you know, for one reason or the other, it just didn't end up coming out. But, you know, I'll say it happens and it's calm. But I think the version that did come out with Blackbones was, I would say it was meant to come out. And, you know, the fans loved it. So
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, when next we have Benson in the studio, definitely. I have something up my list that I want to ask him. So, we see people drop EPs, and we see like maybe 4 tracks, like 5 tracks. This is very to see like a 2-track. Would you call it an EP though? To see a 2-track EP, so what would you call it?
It's a single. I wouldn't call it an EP.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's 2 singles.
Oh, okay.
Is It You and Mysterious Love. It's like a listening experience. I think people these days call it 2 packs. It's like, it's like an unofficial
now?
name.
Okay.
But,
Interesting.
Like a 2-pack.
it's a single. You know, sometimes singles have 2 songs in a single. You know, but
Oh, okay. So what's the idea though? So you seem to sing a lot about love, like is it you by your side, love wanting things. So let me just ask: are you in a relationship of sorts? Because you can't be a single guy, and I'm wondering where you're drawing all this inspiration to make love songs.
I'm Africa's boyfriend, so I'm dating Africa.
Spare me.
Leave that one.
yeah.
That one.
So is there a special person in your life?
I mean, yeah, like at different points of my life, there's always a special person.
So at this point,
yes, there are lots of special people that I care about very deeply.
Okay.
Talking about the one that see you naked.
Specifically, that's the ones that you can wake up to.
Since you didn't want to be, I'm just trying to make it specific.
I mean, but so basically, I make
rewind selector. You're making a fantastic politician.
I'm telling you, speaking for president. Basically,
the segue
I'm your campaign manager.
So I'll tell you something. Yeah,
okay.
Like so the thing about my music is I like to be very graphic and descriptive in my music. So it's the kind of situation whereby if you want to know more about my love life, if you actually pay attention to my music and the lyrics, you would actually know a lot about my love life.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like I like to just put it all in the music. So I make music expressing myself and how I feel at different points in time. I feel like people make music about the predominant theme of their life or the predominant energy. Like some people's lives, the predominant energy is they're always fighting. They're at war, you know what I mean? Like
so
everything is
aggressive,
like some people's music, the predominant theme is their struggles. Talking about their struggles and how they overcome that challenge. Some people's music is about love. Some people's music is about chilling with a fine girl and the vibes that are going down when they are chilling with a fine girl. So that's kind of my jurisdiction. You know what I mean? I like to make music about emotions and love and stuff that I feel, that happen to be the predominant theme of my life.
Of your life. So the predominant theme of your life is love. Okay. Speaking of love, have you tried breakfast before?
Oh, many times.
Really?
Different English breakfast, continental breakfast,
Nigerian breakfast.
This is why I say secret for president.
You can imagine served in different breakfast in bed. All of them.
So let me ask you a question right now. They always say, especially things always come around. So we've seen this growth or this explosion of the Nigerian music industry before. With the greats. I'm talking about King Sunny Ade. I'm talking Majek for Check. With the labels coming in, with them getting international exposure with the Grammys and everything, and we're seeing it come around again. So right now, I was having a conversation with someone the other day that says, if I'm abroad, for instance, and someone says, "Oh, can you actually define what Afrobeats is?" I'm at a loss for words because every genre of music, has something that defines it. Because when you hear an R&B song, it's an R&B song. Yeah. When you hear a rap song, it's a rap song. But when you hear Afrobeats in your mind, I'm just like, okay, how do we define it? So right now, do you think where we are as an industry, do you think it's mainly exploitative or it's actually growing the sound? Because it just seems more. It seems like the music, the fans, the people who this music is being made for, are being alienated from the artist and the entire experience. Because I was listening to a song the other day that Burna Boy did, and listen to everything. You hear Pidgin, you hear Yoruba, you hear, Nigerian slangs. And in my head, and I'm like, except maybe the white person that is listening to this song probably has a lot of Nigerian friends that will break down the essence of these songs to them. You probably just bump and vibe to the melody, and it will really not connect to you the same way it will connect to, the average Nigerian. You understand? The same way I used to listen to Cisco back in the day. And when he says, "Oh, I hit you with a £4," in my mind, I was just like, okay, what's a £4? I don't know what that is. You understand what I'm saying? So right now, do you think with the influx of these international labels, playing in the industry right now, do you think that we're creating
diluting our sound? Because lyrics are only one part of it.
Yeah, and we're just alienating the core fans, from the music.
Okay, so let me start from you saying, how do we define Afrobeats? So I feel I've been privileged enough to travel around, different parts of Africa. Like, I feel sometimes in Nigeria we forget that Africa is really big.
Yeah.
Like, there's North Africa that when you're there, you think you're in the Middle East. You kind of low-key forget you're still in Africa, like Morocco, Algeria. There's Southern Africa. Apart from South Africa itself, you have Zambia, you have Namibia, you have all these countries. Then you have East Africa. And there's so many different types of music that comes from each of these regions. You also have West Africa, obviously, Ghana, Nigeria.
Yeah.
And Afrobeats, the mainstream Afrobeats that, let's say, the US or the UK champion, it all depends on the predominant sound in the whole continent at that time. So let's say the Southern African sound is being appreciated by the whole continent, like, the clubs in not just South Africa, but West Africa, North Africa, everybody's jamming to that vibe. Then that is the vibe that is put forward to the Western world as, oh, this is the Afrobeat sound right now. Okay. It's kind of like back in 2015, when the Ghana sound was kind of the predominant sound, the pom-pom, like people call it the pom-pom sound. At that time, the whole of Africa was jamming to that sound, including South Africa, even though the sound came from West Africa. So basically, I just think the sound is diverse because it travels from one part of the continent to the other. Sometimes Nigerians, it's our traditional sound that's the sound. Sometimes it's not quite our traditional sound. People want variety. People want dynamics in Afrobeat. They don't want to just listen to one particular exact sound of Afrobeats for,
Yeah.
So basically that's how I put it. And also, fusion, different artists have to be creative, create different fusions, just to move the sound forward. So we are not just listening to the same thing for years on end. So I feel every artist is making their own version of what, inspires them as Afrobeats. And you can't expect everyone to sound the same. So I feel we're doing great as an industry. We're expanding. Afrobeats is expanding. And it will never just stay in one place. It's going to keep changing. And I'm very curious to see where it goes next.
Okay, I love that. I love that definition. I had never thought about Afrobeats being the broader genre for African music as opposed to just Nigerian music. The other question that I want to ask you is, with Nigerian audiences, one of the things that we mentioned at the start of the interview was Love No One Tinsi, and how it actually took outside audiences to recognize and appreciate the song before Nigerians followed up and caught up and started appreciating the song. And honestly, you as an artist, your wider sound. So for you right now, do you feel like you have that connection with Nigerian audiences, or do you feel like your music is, listen, come as you are, accept me, whoever you are, not necessarily just for Nigerians, for just the broader public?
I mean, I'm making music about love, which I always have. Everyone falls in love. Everyone has chopped breakfast. Right. Everyone is probably about to chop breakfast around the corner. Some are happily in love. Right. And, at different points of my life or my relationship experience, I'm making music about one aspect of this or the other. So, that has been my message from the beginning. And that is still my message, the sonics will change. It's not always going to sound the exact same as it sounded before. I mean, you're not going to get another Ckay the First, another Boyfriend EP, another Sad Romance. The sound will keep evolving, but the message is still the same. You know, love is the message.
The message. Okay, that's fantastic.
Love it.
So there's 2 songs. Is it you and is it ML or
Mysterious
Love? So who produced them?
Okay, so it was a joint production by myself and Reward Beats.
Okay.
Reward Beats is really, really dope, really talented. He has a very interesting way of fusing piano elements, but in an in like a Nigerian way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not like
he's in Nigeria.
You know what I mean? He's fully Nigerian.
He's fully Nigerian. All right, cool. No problem. So I'm about to play right now. So remember our AAA rating system. Hit us up and let us know what you think about it. Ckay, thank you so much. It's always a vibe whenever you come in.
Thanks for having me.
I just sit down and just have a conversation right now. You'll absolutely love that. It's 10:15 on a fantastic Tuesday morning right here on the Morning Rush on the Heartbeats of Lagos. Here's that brand new song by Ckay. It's called Is It You? Enjoy.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this. And also don't forget to check out all the other content on the other shows on the Beat 99.9 FM.